welcome to you. My name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction, and today is part one of my Q&A. Recently I asked you to pop any questions you had about my Paris trip and the new house into the question box on my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me there, consider it at Dales_Addiction, and also my community page here on YouTube, which you can only see if you are subscribed. So again, please consider subscribing. So today I'm going to bring you the Paris questions, and then the next video I will bring you the house and home questions, because there are a lot, and potentially incorporate a quasi tour for you. So subscribe if you want to stick around for that. So let's get started. Okay, so this question kind of covers both topics. How did you cope with the stress of moving while also traveling and working? It's probably more on the homewares. I will just let you know that the day that I went to the airport, I will say, because I always fly out in the early hours of the morning, like 2 a.m. I went to the airport the day before. That is the day that the house settled, meaning that all of the monies and titles were exchanged and it was now ours. And we got that text message about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I was due to go to the airport at about 10:30 that evening. And so we rushed around and got some champagne, came to the house, toasted the house, and then had a swim in the pool, and then invited some visiting family over to come and enjoy the moment with us as well. And yeah, you might say that then rushing home and pulling dinner together, having a shower and having some time together before flying off to Paris could have been a little bit stressful. I'm in denial still. But yeah, thanks for acknowledging all of those moving parts. He dreams of bags. Hi, Christian. Did you get some nice Stingray items at the little shop in Paris? No, Christian, I did not, because apparently they have shut up shop. They have moved on. It was a pop-up of artisans at the time. Connor was looking for them. I'm hoping he wasn't withholding on me, that he just didn't want me to go there, but yeah, he said that they're no longer there. It was a pop-up for a short time only, and so they will forever be hidden, and whoever finds them next has a duty to share with us all and not gatekeep like Mr. Brennan. And if you can hear that noise, Mr. Addiction has started his motorbike. This one from Jean Merbay. What's your favourite thing to do in Paris? Do you speak any French? Love you. Thank you very, very much. My favourite thing to do in Paris is just wander the streets and look in windows. Eileen and I did a lot of that in Paris this time. We stayed in Saint-Germain, and around the little streets there are so many galleries and antiquities dealers and homewares, like fabrics and art, and honestly, just looking in the windows on our way to wherever we were wandering that day was just so lovely. And then, having that kind of lunch and seeing the rush and finding a place that was full of locals and not tourists was also one of our favourite things to do, and those places always paid dividends in terms of the service and the food. And people were not disrespectful because we did not speak French. To the part of your next question, I don't speak French. People just were grateful that we said hello, and then treated us with the utmost respect, thanked us for coming to their establishment, and we felt like we had really genuine, authentic experiences. And for me, that was my absolute favourite thing to do. But I would say it was almost trumped by our early evening walks. We're usually on the way home and walking through the avenues with the Christmas lights and just the lights of the monuments, and if it had been raining a little bit, everything was a bit wet, so it was a bit shiny, so the lights reflect off the shiny surfaces. It was magic. It really was magic. They were some of the best times, was just walking back to our apartment and then thinking about what we were going to have for dinner that night. And we had a fabulous little bistro near us called Le Clerc au Pré, or something like that, or Le Pré au Clerc. and they had like just great authentic French cuisine, and we went and sat outside one night because nobody was there smoking, and had our French onion soup, and I think I had some foie gras on toast, and what did Eileen have, like some kind of salad and like a cheese on toast thing, and a big glass of wine, and then we could just walk across the road and go to our apartment. And yeah, that to me, that is experiencing a city, and I loved it. Another question from Amy about the Galusha shop. No, we did not find it, as I said earlier. Hopefully Connor is not gatekeeping that one. Natalie loves _Lux. I thought you and Meredith were going to Paris together. Was I mistaken? Well, we went to Paris together last year, and I will link the my travel vlogs from last year. We had a fabulous time last year in Paris, fully action-packed, fully all about luxury shopping. We had one day where we went exploring, which was really fun. We went to the Moulin Rouge. Totally different trip, still amazing and fun. So yeah, if you want to have a look at those highlights, go check out those vlogs, which I will link in the description box below. Styled by _Rudy. How are you? What was your most fun moment in Paris? Oh, look. When you say fun would have had to have been the day we spent with Mark and Gwenny. That was a really fun day. Just bouncing off each other's sense of humour, eating, walking, playing around in Louis Vuitton. Yeah, it went so fast, but it was really good fun. We have very similar naughty senses of humour, which was really good value. And then if you think about like the most, magical experience, I floated out of that winery. I floated out of Perrier-Jouet. It was just magic. It was amazing. I pinch myself that I'm lucky enough to have had these experiences. A lot of these questions are about the house, and so it's going to be interesting to get to that video for sure. Liv_4. Thoughts on the Speedy Soft versus the P9 Speedy if you saw them in Paris? I didn't go looking for them, Liv. You know me, I'm not a big fan of the Speedy, except for the Speedy that I got, which I'll show you just for a little reminder. So this is my Speedy trunk in the 20 size. This is what I picked up in Paris. This is all I was focused on. I'm not a fan of the Speedy traditionally, even though I have this big one. This is a 35 in epi leather. This was my first ever purchase from the store because I hated monogram because I associated it with fakes. That bag, I used it to death. I find it so impractical now, but I still like wearing it every now and then. But it's not a style that I love. I love this one though. So I can't answer your question, but I can just share the bag candy instead. Eileen asked a cheeky question. How long is too long in an LV store? So I think I might have mentioned it in one of the unboxings, but shopping in Paris it takes a long time. The two situations where we had appointments, it was like they had all day. I'm thinking, don't you want to have more customers and make more money? No, it's all about building a relationship and having an experience. However, we're kind of time is money girlies, and being more efficient, particularly on both occasions at Louis Vuitton and at Fred. We knew what we were there for. Yes, it's nice to be offered some champagne and some hospitality, but not to the extent that you're sacrificing like 5 or 6 hours of your day. And holidays, there's not much time. And it reminded me of how much time those appointments suck out of your day, and why going overseas to shop really is a sacrifice on what you can see and experience in the city. And so yeah, for me, I think limiting the number of appointments that we had was great. Yes, we were looked after in Louis Vuitton. Do I wish I could have found a way to politely and assertively speed things up? Yes, and I did try a few times, but it sounds terrible, but we almost felt robbed because we really wanted to go and have cocktails and drinks with Gwenny and Mark afterwards, and we were all beat, and we all, we needed to go and There was no help offered to courier our bags because of the time that we left, because of how long it took for everything to happen. So yeah, it really limited the other things that we could do, and we felt a little bit robbed because of it. So I would say shop with caution. Don't fill all your days with shopping appointments, because I don't think it was just a Louis Vuitton thing. We experienced it in a lot of places, which, you know, if that's what you want, great, but it's not for me, especially when I know what I want. Eileen also asks, how does it feel being a great travel buddy? Well, I hope I was a great travel buddy to you. I have travelled with good friends now 3 times overseas, and I've travelled with my sister as well, but that's been kind of in a different setup. And I have to say, it's a credit to my friendships and how transparent we are with each other, that we can say what we want to do, what's important to us, what we're prepared to compromise on and what we're not. And as grown women, independent women, you know, we're not used to compromising so much, and it kind of takes you back to your early days when you travelled with friends. And that's why having, you know, your own quarters, like we had, you know, Eileen and I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, and so did Meredith and I. And I feel like that works really well, and you get to kind of have the downtime, and you still have privacy, and you work things out together, and it takes the... there's a bit of a burden, I suppose, when you travel, in that you are always thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to get there, when you need to be back, how you're going to get ready, where you're going to eat, what people like and don't like. It's good to share that burden with someone. And you, my friend, were the most wonderful travel buddy. So thank you so much for joining me. Mrs. Helson 1903. Congratulations on both Paris and the house. As a fellow food lover, can you please confirm the butter made at home? I can confirm the butter made at home. So here's what I did. I bought the butter at Le Grand Epicure, which is just across the road from Le Bon Marché in Saint-Germain. They offer a service for €1 where they will vacuum seal your purchase. In hindsight, I wish I'd have bought, you know, a bag for each of the blocks of butter. They would have thought that was incredibly wasteful, but just to ensure that they didn't, you know, interfere with each other, because, like, so there's truffle butter next to salted butter, for example. They vacuum sealed it. I took it back to our apartment and froze it. And then just before we were about to leave back to the airport, I put the butter into another bag and I put it in my checked luggage. The reason I put it in my checked luggage, twofold. One, it counts as a gel or liquid, and so if you put it in your carry-on, depending on how much you buy, which I bought 5, that's kind of like 500 grams or 500 mils of your 1 litre allowance. So, you know, that's a problem. 2, in the cargo hold, it's cold up there at, you know, 40,000 feet or however high you are when you're flying internationally. In the cabin, it's a regulated temperature, so it's more inclined to get warm. So, popped it in there, fingers crossed, hope for the best. Get to Australia. I popped it in a bag that I knew where it was. I filled out the customs declaration to say that, yes, I had food. They sent me to biosecurity. Biosecurity asked what I was declaring, and I said, French butter. And they went, okay, all right, you can go. And that was that. So I got it home. Yes, it had softened, but you can put butter on the bench, you know, for days and days and days. So it had softened. I simply put the whole cryovac pack into the freezer for a few days, and then once we'd kind of moved into the house, I pulled it out, I wiped everything down, and it's now back in the freezer, at least the bars that I'm not using, waiting for their turn. I opened up one of the salted butters and served it on a platter to our good neighbours and friends, along with some other accoutrements, and we had fresh baguettes and French butter, and everyone thought it was totally worth it. So for Christmas, I'm excited to serve my baguettes with French salted butter, and it was totally worth it. Highly recommend. Now, I think this one's related to the Paris trip. It's from Katrina Vancar. Hello. Did you get your MTO? Not in Paris, but I do have it. So if you haven't already seen the unboxing, it's coming up. Fragabilissima. How do Parisian women dress nowadays? What's the fashion vibe there? Logos, luxe bags. Look, I have to say, I didn't really focus in on the logos, but I did notice there was lots of colour. I expected it to be greys and browns and taupes and neutrals. I saw a lot of colour on the women riding bicycles to and from work, coming out of the tube, or the metro. The people that we saw around, we saw a lot of Hermes bags around. We saw like Parisian women carrying Kellys. We saw a lot of Kellys, and Kellys just on a table outside a bistro. So all of the worry about people having their luxury stolen and what have you, we certainly didn't experience that. We saw lots of beautiful handbags around. It's obviously hard in a city like Paris to differentiate who is Parisian and who is a tourist, but I have to say, if I saw people on bicycles going somewhere with purpose, people strutting around, people speaking French, I made some assumptions, and they were wearing colour. And to me, like, that made me feel at home, because I thought I'd stick out like a sore thumb. I probably still did, but that was totally the vibe. A lot of colour and whimsy and layering, and yeah, I've never once felt like we were out of place when we were there. And now we're over to the YouTube questions. House, 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 and house. So that's all the questions about Paris. So if you haven't already seen the vlogs, I will link the playlist in the description box below. It was the most magical trip. Again, thank you so much, Eileen, for joining me. We had the best time. Thank you so much to Gwenny from the channel Styled by Gwenny and her fab husband, the Lion, for making their way across the channel to see us. It was so lovely that you made that effort to come and see us, especially when I missed New York, and I won't be in Paris next year either with everybody, so I just thought that was such a lovely gesture. Yeah, super stoked. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and thanks to all of you for watching my vlogs and your lovely comments. It feels like you got a good sense of what it was like over there based on your comments, and so I appreciate you supporting my channel and watching those. And again, if you haven't already, I'll link them down in the description box below. Please like this video just to send YouTube a little message that you've enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. The house Q&A is coming up, guys, so I'll see you for that one. Ciao.